Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Big Time CRIBS. My name's Steve Woody, and today I am joined with the one, the only, the WhaleDShark. So please put your hands together and clap your balls. Whale, how you doing, sir?
Dude, I'm doing great. Welcome to my crib, my friend. You were the very first guest that I had here the last time around, and I'm absolutely honored to have your presence in here for this interview.
Mate, thank you so much. I'm really, really excited. In fact, it was you who inspired me to do this entire series. I saw your crib and I was like, people need to see this. This is going to inspire people. This is going to give people ideas. And also, aside from that, I want people to get to know you because you're an incredible person beyond just the assets. Like, the assets are incredible, but so are you. And I want people to get to know you a little bit better as well. So I'm super excited to be here, man. And,
Dude,
for those of you
so
that don't know the ball reference, you have to go and watch WhaleDShark's Twitch to understand the giveaways, and then any reference that we make to our balls will make sense.
My community loves their marbles. So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm relatively new to Twitch. So basically what I did was I started streaming BigTime on Twitch probably about 15 days ago. Steve, I'm so honored to have you as one of my very first viewers as well. And essentially what we do is we play a bunch of marbles at the end of each stream and give away free common hourglasses, which, you know, during the course of Welcome to My Crib, I'd be more than happy to show you where our little garden of common hourglasses sprout so that I can give them away to the community.
And do you know what? Just talking about that right now, the fact that you have taken the time, because you don't need to do this, but the fact that you've taken the time to offset an area of your metaverse just for giveaways, I don't think there's anyone else doing that. It's incredible. I love that. Your philanthropy in this game is amazing, and so, sir, I salute you.
Thank you so much, my friend. Again, it's just really, as we go through this metaverse, I think you'll see that, you know, maintaining an hourglass factory, or, you know, in a less PC manner, an hourglass sweatshop is actually a very lonely endeavor. And I think that's something also that we've seen from many of the people who've been on your episode. So, you know, really the honor is all mine to have that beautiful WhaleDShark community up there every single day. And they make this process so much more enjoyable and so much more fun.
Nice. All right. Well, let's have. I mean, I'm looking at the map right now, and I don't even know where to start. This is just like.
So why don't I take you on a tour? Why don't we welcome to my crib? And I swear to God, my crib is not loaned. It's not leased. This is not going to be like MTV Cribs where they post an episode and that the movers come in and take out all the furniture. Everything that you see here is here to stay.
Yeah. This is the thing with this as well. Is I genuinely think right now you have more Time Wardens than Big Time themselves.
I wish. I mean, they could open up their vault of Transcendence and pop me a few. I'd be very appreciative of that. But anyway, here we are. So this is my throne room. I actually had to take away everything probably about a week ago, and we just established it back again for this interview. But, you know, I absolutely love the decorations that Big Time has here. I know that a lot of people think that, you know, the decorations, you know, they're kind of cool. But, you know, it's my belief that, you know, at some point in time, these decorations are going to have some utility. Now, given that you guys are looking at my favorite decoration within the Big Time environment or ecosystem, which is the TRex. So I actually have 4 to 5 of them, but managed to display 3 of them here for all of you guys to see.
I love this. I kind of wish, and this is something where, like, I know you can do it with the play. If I inspect you, I can actually look at an item and I can buy that item. I kind of want to be able to go into someone's space and inspect their decorations, and maybe that takes me to the marketplace so I could possibly buy a T-Rex myself, because I was looking at these. These are not cheap, my friend. I was looking on the marketplace. These are legendary. So if anybody wants a T-Rex, you can only put a decoration into a space if that space is of equal or higher rarity as the decoration itself. So these T-Rexes you cannot have a rare space and put a T-Rex in it. It can only go into a legendary, a mythic, or an exalted space, just so that you know. But yeah, these are incredible. And the fact that you walk into the throne room and it's just the first thing you're hit with is Jurassic Park. I love it.
These are my big time bodyguards, my friend. And again, at the end of the day, I can't wait to see what they do with big time in the personal metaverse. I think one of the hopes or one of the dreams that I have is the personal metaverse will not only be a place for crafting, but will also become a social environment for a lot of people to come in and hang out. So, Steve, while it'll be wonderful for us to be able to click on somebody and make an offer for some asset that they have, even what would be very, very cool is when people are going to be able to come into your personal metaverse, if guild members are able to come into your personal metaverse, and then after that they actually have proximity voice happening, right?
Yes.
Dude, we could hold one hell of a party in here.
Oh, that would be incredible. You could have DJs in different rooms, you could have conversations, you can play games, you can even troll people. I mean, proximity voice would be amazing. I'm so excited if they bring that into the game. And also, we were talking about this just a little while ago. We were talking about the possibility of hosting events inside the space and bringing people in here and like having speaking engagements where you could be sitting here talking to a room of people. And obviously, this room is limited inside. Like, I could imagine people queuing up trying to get in the door, like having to stand here. Like, I can't quite hear. It's quiet out here in the hallway. And I think
Steve,
proximity voice would be amazing. Yeah,
you can be my bouncer.
I'd use a T-Rex.
Dude, what we could do, right, is, again, one of the beautiful things about this is you could actually have a T-Rex as a bouncer. Steve, I know this is not part of programming, but if you stand outside the door, would you be kind enough to stand outside the door? Sorry, this is gated entry only.
Well, this is exactly dear. So this idea, by the way. Sorry. Is it
we got a straggler that came into the club.
There's a hole in the matrix. This was actually your idea to stop me beating you in a race. I can't get back out.
You are absolutely right. So the very first time, So the very first time that Steve came in, we had a race down the long corridors that your audience is going to be able to see later on. And again, one of the things that I wanted to do is, next time Steve and I have a race, if he gives me a little bit of a heads up, I'm going to block one of the entryways so he can't get back in again. There we go. We go. T-Rex sponsor back in the inventory.
Oh, I love it.
Besides this throne room, again, my subs and my followers are people who are very close to my heart. I am so happy to have found really my tribe, right? My tribe that I can vibe with. And so what I did was I started giving away common hourglasses. And, a lot of people might say, doesn't that mean that people are just going to come into your stream just for the free hourglasses? What I actually found is, only 20% of viewers actually participate in these races. The majority of them are there just to chill and hang out, which again speaks volumes about the viewership and the community here at BigTime.
Yes.
But what you can see is that I essentially have dedicated this room to my viewers, to my followers, and my subs. And this is the way that I harvest the common hourglasses to be able to give out at the end of my stream.
I love this. I think, as impressive as your throne room is, this is my favorite room in your metaverse. I absolutely love this. The fact that you have a space dedicated to your community that generates assets for giveaways. I want to see more people adopt this. I want to see guilds. I want to see guild leaders. I want to see the key people of influence and the personalities in this space. I want to see them adopt similar things to this, where they have a space that is dedicated for crafting assets for giveaways. Because this is phenomenal, my friend, and I'm absolutely going to do this myself. I'm gonna take this idea and I'm going to deploy it for my community. Because, fair play to you, buddy. I really respect this. This is amazing. And if you haven't had a chance to check out WhaleDShark on Twitter. On Twitch. It is twitch.tv/WhaleDShark. I will put all of the links in the description. And at the end of the stream, and these are great streams, by the way, because when I first watched WhaleDShark, I was like, this is someone who is, I already knew the name. This is someone who we've all seen in the marketplace as buying up these assets. Like somebody who is spending £20,000 over and over and over again on Transcendent hourglasses, spending hundreds of thousands, like $500,000 just on assets alone in this space. And then I see them streaming with a few viewers, and I was like, nobody realizes yet how big this is going to be. And the fact that you have already been planning ahead by creating this space, by doing your giveaways, if you watch the stream, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the stream, we do a marble, not we, WhaleDShark does a marble run with his viewers, and we all get to participate in a giveaway where you can actually get these hourglasses. So now you're actually seeing where they're created. So when you're in the giveaway and you're, we're all joking about our balls in the marble run. This is where it comes from, mate. I love it. I'm so inspired by this.
Thank you so much. It has a different vibe, doesn't it? Even though it's like any other metaverse space, you know, the moment I walk in there, I feel warm and fuzzy. You know, I feel warm and fuzzy because again, it's for the community, and you know, I just love giving back, right? Whether when I was in crypto art or whether I was in photography or in any other aspect of NFTs, I just love giving back to my community, and it's something that, you know, I'll always carry with me. I mean, similar to the community that you've built, right? People before profits. You and I have a very similar mentality when it comes to treating people and, you know, doing them right. So yes, that was just my token tribute to my community. It's still growing. We have a lot of fun. Sometimes it can be very inappropriate, but you know, again, we enjoy the degen. We enjoy the Web3 mullet, which is MBA in the front and degen in the back.
Oh yes.
So it's a lot of fun.
Well, this is, I mean, there's so much to unpack here, right? There's the throne room, which is impressive for its own reasons. There's the community contribution room, which is again impressive for its own reasons. And now here we are standing inside a room which is literally full of Transcendent Time Wardens. And it's not the only one. I mean, this is not everyone gets to see this. Like, people don't, and the people that do see it, this would be the interesting concept. If you're watching this as a viewer, if you had a Transcendent Time Warden right now, would you keep it or would you sell it? Because it could be very easy, right, to look at an item, an asset in the game and think to yourself, I could get $20,000 if I sold that. What I'm really interested in, though, is the mentality behind what WhaleDShark is doing, and that is not just in acquiring assets, but using those assets to be able to produce more assets. And wow, if you'd be so kind to talk us through, this is effectively your sweatshop, right?
Absolutely, and I call it my sweatshop. Again, it's a non-offensive title. It's a joke at how these time wardens operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm very indebted to and very grateful, I would say, to the algorithms that run my Transcendent Time Wardens and all Time Wardens in this factory, right? So you're absolutely correct. I mean, I was lucky enough to come early into the game where I was able to purchase a total of 8 Transcendent Time Wardens from the market. I have no regrets becoming the exit liquidity for these people who, again, most likely took this money and did bigger and better things. But you know, again, you and I have a very similar thought mentality in the fact that we use numbers to understand what should we do and what shouldn't we do, right? One of the first numbers that I crafted, you know, before, you know, purchasing these time wardens essentially was, you know, how many hourglasses from these time wardens would it take to pay for the cost of an hourglass, right?
Yes.
In analyzing all, and again, this is a second room. I'll talk about the room layout in a tiny bit as well, because we know something big is coming from BigTime.
Yes.
But when you actually look at the data, it tells you that you only need to craft 5% of an hourglass, a Transcendent hourglass, to be able to cover the cost of a time warden at $39,900, right? I bought all of these between the prices of $16,900 to $19,900. So essentially what I'm looking at is, at the right time, at that point in time, when I do craft a Transcendent hourglass, it will literally be paid off by selling. And I know this isn't feasibly possible, but just numerically speaking, these all will be literally paid off by crafting 2.5 to 3% of a Transcendent hourglass, right? So it made mathematical sense to me when I looked at it. And, you know, if you go into the market today, you can't find a single one for sale. The last one for sale was $39,900, but I don't think, again, I don't think it sold and it got taken off the market. So it is impossible. It is impossible to buy these today. So I'm very, very glad that I made that decision.
I mean, you have absolutely capitalized on the top end of the marketplace, and you're playing a long game here, and I think it's phenomenal to be able to see this, because that not everyone has the ability to do this, right? This is there's being able to talk a good game and there's being able to walk a good game, and you're able to do both. And I think it's interesting because there's a thesis in your head, there's a belief of what could be. And the speculation is obviously there, but there's logic behind this. And I like to think about when I used to play poker, and I used to think about pot odds. You know, sometimes it was mathematically viable to play a hand, even if that wasn't a good hand, just based on statistics alone. Because when you take variance into the equation, more times than not, because of statistics, you're going to come out on top. And I think that's what you're playing here, is you're playing the long game with the hourglasses, being that this is the core concept of this game, right? People need these hourglasses to be able to generate this token, to be able to keep this economy going. So whilst cosmetics are great, whilst other things are going to be promoted by the team, it's all going to come down to the hourglass production, which is going to be needed to be able to get those assets in the first place.
You're absolutely right, Steve. And again, you know, while I would love to play the game in the hack and slash manner that a lot of people do play it on, at the end of the day, I was a merchant and I am a merchant in real life. So, you know, in thinking about the game and how does this work, I was thinking about how I could play the merchant in BigTime, right? And I hopefully they do eventually come out with a class to talk about being a merchant. But essentially, you know, when you're looking at assets, right, to play in game, I wanted to find the most essential one of them all and go all in with that. So essentially what you see and what you're running through right now is the northern wing of my you know, Time Warden sweatshop, and it comprises of, I want to say it comprises of eight Transcendent Time Wardens. As you guys can see here, I believe 6 exotic Time Wardens, about 27 exalted Time Wardens, and a whole lot of other mythic and legendary Time Wardens. It goes, Steve, it goes 1.6 kilometers all the way north.
I'm just getting into the mythics now. I mean, this is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal to see. So, do you? Here's a question for you, Wow. And this, by the way, is blowing my mind just running through here. I mean, I've got a lot of space to run through, but mine's empty. You've got a lot of space, and you've got the workshops to back it up on the sides as well. So I'm definitely enjoying running through yours. It's a lot more colourful than mine, and I love that you've put them into. I mean, this must take you all day. I mean, how do you get anything done? They're all active. I can see the yellow dots. I mean, you spend a lot of time in here. I can feel it. This is why you're level 10. It's not because you're not very good at the game. You just don't have time to play it in the traditional sense.
So essentially, there were several ways I could have laid this out, right? I could have laid it out in like, you know, the kind of like basement weed factory hydroponics farm way, which I've seen quite a lot of. But the thing is, you know, you're right. I always play for the long game, right? And what I didn't want to do was create something that was efficient in the short term. But when they introduced something that you and I are extremely excited about, which is a set collective bonus, yes. I didn't want to have to take down the factory for 1 to 2 days, and then after that have to reset up everything in this manner again. So, yes. I bit the bullet, and as you can see, basically, and Steve, I'm sure your audience knows about the set collective bonus, but the more workshops you're able to attach to a given space, essentially the more bonuses you're going to be able to get, right? Yeah. And what I wanted to do was come close to that. I know that there are probably some even better ways to do it. Given that I could actually be attaching, six factories or 6 workshops to a single space. You made it back without getting lost, my friend.
I'm on my way.
But, this just really spoke to me about, the efficiencies and, whether I deconstruct this again and try to find a way to attach 6 workshops to any given space, it's going to be dependent on the, it really is going to be dependent on the benefits of that set collective as we move forward. So, it's geared up. It's the sweatshop is a sweatshop. And again, it's a sweatshop built for the future, right?
Yes.
I won't have to do, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. And I think that this is another thing that you've just mentioned with this. We don't know how the bonuses are going to be applied yet. Like, we have the theory behind the white paper and what they've said, but we know that could possibly change, and we know that things could be different. And so we just have to wait and see what they launch as their first version, which we've been told we can hopefully see in the next major update. which could be, and I'm assuming, is going to be somewhere around the end of the pre-season. So I'm expecting this to launch in the next 2 months.
I cannot wait, my friend. I mean, this game, the reason why I love this game so much is because of the economic complexity that they put in this game. When you look at anything that is built in Web3 today from a gaming perspective, nothing beats the complexity, the sophistication of BigTime. And, you know, you're absolutely right. I probably spend 3 hours a day in here. If I'm in stream, again, I'm hanging out with the boys, I'm having fun. So, you know, you can plus another 1 or 2 hours. But it essentially takes me about, I want to say 3 to 5 hours a day to maintain this thing.
Wow. How do you have the time? I mean, you have so many other... And actually, this is something I'd love to touch on. I mean, BigTime is obviously, at the moment, it's definitely taking up a lot of your time in terms of the effort that you have to put in to manage this right now. And you actually come from a different side of crypto outside of the Web3 gaming. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that and your thoughts around NFTs, because we understand NFTs having gaming utilities, but also there's other uses for NFTs, right? In terms of art, in terms of music and things that people have done. And I know that you're a big part of that space. How did you get started in this crypto space? How did you get into becoming a whale?
Absolutely. So I actually entered into Bitcoin in 2012. So back in 2012, you know, no one knew what Bitcoin was, or no one knew what Bitcoin would become. But, you know, having been a business person myself and, you know, having to transfer money across different countries, different barriers all the time, I saw the potential in Bitcoin. And, you know, kudos to me not listening to anyone else around me, right? Even my dad was like, are you insane? Have you gone off your rocker? I was already a high-level executive in 2012, a very young high-level executive, but I literally took half of my paycheck every single month from 2012 all the way to 2015 and bought Bitcoin. Right? Wow. People thought I was absolutely off my rocker. And then after that, in 2015, 2016, I got really frustrated with the transaction speeds of Bitcoin because it was a little bit choked up, right? It was a little bit choked up. And so I was trying to look for an alternative, and I fell in love with Ethereum. So late 2015, 2016, I took all of the Bitcoin that I bought over the last 4 to 5 years, and I bet everything on black, and I bought Ethereum. I bought ETH at probably about $9 to $10. Back in that point in time, on average, you know, spanning over the year. I became an ETH whale. And, you know, it was extremely delightful when we ran into the first bull run where we saw ETH run up above $100. I think that was if I'm not wrong, that was like 2017, 2018, I believe. And then after that, you know, I became a very early investor also in DeFi, right? Through several different companies. Again, that was more or less a hands-off approach as I invested in several exchanges. Then after that, in 2019, I had all of this ETH that I was sitting on. I didn't know what to do with it. So I said, are there any more developments in the Ethereum space? And I happened upon a Reddit post that was talking about Gods Unchained, which again is still one of my favorite games within the ecosystem. And, you know, it just made sense for me. NFTs were a thing, and they were going to be a thing in the future. So between 2019 and 2021, I accumulated NFTs. Back then, I was the largest holder of gaming assets. I was the largest holder of metaverse land. I was the largest holder of digital art, right? And I think I accumulated a total of 415,000 NFTs between the course of 2019 to 2021 when we hit the NFT bull market. And I would end that story by saying, I always have a saying about crypto, right? The reason why I'm so bullish on NFTs is because, you know, crypto is better money, right? I mean, we could always continue to use fiat, but crypto only provides a better alternative. You know, we could talk about DeFi. DeFi is wonderful, right? It's a better financial services. There is, however, only one way, right, as we move into this digital lifestyle and environment to be able to track digital assets, you know, the provenance, the scarcity, the ownership, and that is through NFTs, right? So I think that's the reason why I fell in love with NFTs and why I continue to do everything related to NFTs and Web3 gaming today, my friend. Sorry, extremely long story, but you know, that's how I got started.
No, I love it's so inspirational, but here's the thing is You're a great guy, right? There's we've talked about this in the past. There's wealth, I think, amplifies the person. You know, if you're a nice person and you generate wealth, you become a bigger philanthropist, a nicer person. And if you're a bit of an arsehole, so to speak, and you generate money, then you know the ego and the arrogance kind of kicks in, and you see that. And I think we've seen that, especially in the last bull run. There was a lot of people that made money as a tourist in this space, and who jumped into the space, made some money, and then they lost it. Yet you've consistently been here through cycles and cycles. Your faith and your resolve in this space is unwavering, and rightly so. You're rewarded for that. I think a lot of people can learn from you in the sense of, you know, that saying of diamond hands and holding on to things, and now the ability that you have to be able to give back. Even if it is down to the point of having, you know, like this space where you have these time wardens that are generating assets for your community, I think people can learn so much from you above and beyond this game, and I think it's amazing to learn a bit more about your story. And mate, thank you for sharing it. It's beautiful.
Dude, I appreciate you. I mean, you know what they say about birds of a feather, right? So I think at the end of the day, you and I prescribe to a set of financial disciplines that many others, you know, tend to lose track of, especially in a bull market. So the first thing that I'll say is that, you know, an idiot can make money in a bull market, right? I could literally get my 8-year-old poodle, my 8-month-old poodle, sorry for being crass. I am crass, right? I can literally get my 8-month poodle to shit on a form sheet of different crypto assets, you know, pick one of them, and then after that, I'd probably make like 300%, right? At the end of the day, it's essential that people understand how to flourish in a bear market. How do you exercise risk management? How do you not go all in? You know, when do you know to hold them and when do you know to fold them, right? I think, you know, again, it's essential that people understand how to do that. But, you know, given that greed is such an inherent part of human nature, you know, until the space matures a tiny bit, I think, you know, people are going to continually learn lessons as they win it all and as they lose it all.
I think, but you're rightly so. Anyone can make money. Keeping it is the challenge.
Absolutely. But what you're seeing here, I just wanted to just make sure that I explain some of these things. Where you ran down just now was essentially the feeder fish that feed the beast, right? So I have probably about 100. So I have a total of like over 200 time wardens in this space. What you saw down below was, and I'll show you the east wing in a tiny bit, are all common time wardens. And I think I have roughly about 120 of them around the space. And they essentially feed my time wardens with all of the common hourglasses that they need to do so.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, just to let you know, guys, if you're watching, if you look in open loop right now and you see common time wardens at almost $600, you can either say thank you or fuck you to WhaleDShark because it's his fault.
I accept full fucking responsibility, my friend. Oh, and dude, again, when you have such a big operation, I can't continuously buy, you know, common hourglasses from the market because prices have escalated from $7 all the way up to $18. So very early on, you know, when common hourglasses were about $10 to $11, I made the conscious decision to beef everything up and just buy all of my own common time wardens rather than buying hourglasses from the market, right?
So this is
paid off handsomely. Yeah.
So yet, even though you're not buying the hourglasses, there is still a huge demand for them, keeping that price up.
I'm not the one that's doing that, so I believe the fuck you for hourglasses goes to someone else, my friend.
my question now then, and obviously you don't have to share this, but what's the game plan here? What is? I mean, I know that you've spoken on stream and you've talked about the path to the unique. So are you selling anything right now?
I have not. So that actually leads me to a good point, and we're actually standing in the room where I believe I've only sold 2 items in the market today, and that was mainly to sell uncommon hourglasses for the experiment that I'm running right now. The room that you're standing in is dedicated to the big experiment, which is one of my streams, whereby I questioned, you know, is it possible to deploy $5,000 worth of assets into a Web3 game and be able to derive $1,000 of profit and revenue every single week, right? So basically what we did was we deployed $5,000. We bought 10 Time Wardens. We're soon going to add on one more. But, again, it's worked out very, very well. I thought we were at the height of the bull market for BigTime when we did this. I guess everything can go higher, and naturally everything can go lower as well. But I'm glad that we did it. I think at this point in time in the experiment, we're roughly at $500. $500 per week due to the escalating prices. But as you can see, I separate this out in its own mini wing, so I don't mistake these Time Wardens for my own that feed the beast. But at the end of the day, to your question, I talk about the journey to the unique. Now, the reason why I said why it's journey to the unique, and I didn't say fucking go get that unique or unique or bust, is because at the end of the day, there are a couple of whales in the game. For me, it's more about the journey than the end result. Yes. And I'm very much enjoying my journey. I've managed to, just by calling it the journey to unique, I've managed to, identify a crew, make friends with close to 2,000 people who watch my streams. And every day we hang out there, we chill out, we have a lot of fun, we have a lot of laughs from being completely inappropriate. But, it was the journey, and this is the start of the journey. I can't wait till I have, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 friends, right? The more the merrier. So it really is about crafting to the unique. But it's more important is the journey than the end point.
I love that. And I think that is something that is so often missed, when people are so focused on getting to the destination and what's the outcome. The outcome for a lot of it is that journey. It's about making sure that you enjoy that journey, and it's a one that you can look back on with fond memories. Like you can get to a destination, but you don't want it to be stressful. You definitely don't want it to be painful, right? Yep. And so this is very much about learning and discovery, and I think that we've had many good conversations about talking about the analytics and the spreadsheets and the data side of things, and that's where we enjoy ourselves. And I think that's obviously, as you mentioned, why we're kind of kindred spirits like that. Mm-hmm. I enjoy playing the game. It's a good game. I love running dungeons, and I've had some incredible fun with friends running dungeons. But I find that more and more people these days I'm getting feedback. They're locked in their metaverse. they're stuck in their sweatshop.
Steve, I can tell you this. So if anybody has had measurable or significant success in life, they will usually find that reaching the goal is probably the most anticlimactic part of that entire journey. Once you've reached your goal, literally most people just heave a sigh of relief and, I just want a nightcap and I want to go to bed. But what sticks with that person really are all the friends, all of the wonderful memories, and all of the exciting experiences that they had on that journey, right? So, maybe that only comes with age. I'm not as young as I sound, right? But what I've learned is that often the journey is a lot more important than the destination, because after you finish that journey, that destination isn't your final destination. You have still more journeys and adventures to go on, yes. Right?
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I know that have successfully exited companies, and yet they're filled with regret. Even though it was a successful exit, because they can have all the money, they can have all of the accolades and all of the fame, but sometimes it's the grind. People actually enjoy the grind, and it gives you purpose. And that purpose sometimes is what people miss more than anything else.
Absolutely. And similar to, again, your mantra of people before profits, while you're on that journey, what makes that journey meaningful? Is it taking as much as you can from other people? Does that leave a nice taste in your mouth when you finish that journey? Mm-hmm. No, it's about the friendships that you cultivated. It's about the people that you helped along the way. And if you are an older gentleman like myself, it's about seeing those younger people succeed after they finish their journey with you. Yes. Right?
I love that. It's paying it forward. It's exactly what
absolutely.
Paying it forward.
And this world doesn't belong to WhaleDShark. It doesn't belong to Undisputed. It belongs to the younger generations that come up and above and hopefully exceed all of the successes that any of us have in this space, right? So it is very, very exciting when I am able to go on a journey with different people. It is even more exciting when they learn the tools, the tricks of the trade, and they learn the tools so that they can start their own journey and continue to pay it forward.
And then you watch them have success above and beyond what you've done as a result of that, I find that so fulfilling. When I'm able to tell somebody something and they can take that and use it and then do more with it, I love that.
Steve, at the end of the day, I think viewers need to realize that. I mean, I know that a lot of people are hungry for success, but, and sorry, we are getting a little bit philosophical here. This is the East Wing, by the way. I still have more Time Wardens to fit in, but, all of these are the common Time Wardens. And just before I get a little bit philosophical, I also want to let the audience know I need to be in here 5 hours a day because on average, if I miss a day, this Time Factory, on market value is essentially pumping out anywhere between $2,000 to $2,500 worth of hourglasses that never see the market, right? Wow. So, one day of not doing anything here and resetting the Time Wardens or collecting the hourglasses essentially is an opportunity cost of about $2,000 to $2,500 among all of the commons, epics, rares, and legendaries that get crafted here every day. Now, the last thing, again, I'm going to get a little bit philosophical here, but, viewers, I mean, ask yourselves, what do you want to remember about your life journey, when our journey comes to an end? I can tell you that you're not going to, with this life ending, you're not going to care about the amount of money that you earned, the number of houses or penthouses that you bought. What you're going to care about is, who are the people? What are the memories that made this journey worth taking, right? Absolutely. And, again, always begin with the end at mind.
I think that personal possessions, whether they be physical or digital, they'll be divided up. they'll be handed down. They'll move on. But the legacy, the true legacy of a person, is in their memory. And absolutely. I think the memory is how you touch and affect people on either a positive or a negative, because legacies can go both ways. Some people do definitely tend to opt for the negative legacy because it's easier sometimes, to create harm and pain for people. But if you're able to create a positive legacy in someone else's life, like in your legacy through a positive experience through someone else's life, that's like the ultimate. If you can do that, then that's incredible. And it's just, I think the philosophical stuff is amazing. I think just not enough people talk about it, and not enough people talk about it in a position of responsibility. We see a lot of celebrities, we see a lot of actors, we see a lot of influencers, I'm going to say tourists in this space, especially in Web3, and we're going to see a lot of it now. We're going to see a lot of tourists talking about how much they're worth and how much they earn and how much they can get out of a game. But the fundamentals come back to what you're saying here, which is just about having conviction, faith, trust, and creating an experience through a journey with like-minded people.
I agree. At the end of the day, guys, money is just a tool, right? It's just a way to count the score. You don't really understand that until you've met financial success. And then after that, what really is money? Money really is, number one, it's a tool to make you more comfortable. It's a tool to help other people. And Steve, I mean, similar to what you talk about legacy really isn't having, my name in a book or my name plastered across a building. Legacy lives on in the people that we were kind enough to share our time and knowledge with, and having them make a difference in the world, and also passing that legacy on to the people that they interact with. So, while we are, and this is I like to call this is the edge of BigTime, right? This is like the end, from end to end. I think it's like 3.2 kilometers, which is, for our American viewers, which is roughly about 2 miles. Do things with the end in mind. Understand what sort of an impact you want to make on a game, on life, on the people around you, and make sure that you stay true to your values while you're doing that. It can be Steve, you put it very aptly. There's going to be a lot of tourists. There's going to be a lot of people. Maybe they're not so wise because they have not approached or gone through the cycle enough. At the end of the day, money is essential. Money is wonderful, but money is not the end game, right? The end game should be you staying true to your values, and the end game should be you being the best version of yourself.
Absolutely agree, my friend. Absolutely agree. Talking of end games, just very quickly, what goes beyond this door? What's next for you in terms of a plan here? Because two questions. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of alpha out of you here. So you mentioned Time Wardens, that you're going to deploy some more here. So my first question, you don't have to answer this, but I'm going to see if I can squeeze a little bit of alpha. Do you have the Time Wardens that are going to go here yet?
No, I do not. No, I do
Can I ask
not.
what rarity? Are they going to continue? I'm giving you some alpha, guys. If you're watching this video, at the end of the video here, you're about to understand this is what happens when WhaleDShark goes and sweeps the floor for common Time Wardens. You know it's coming. You can expect it. There's an
I am the
arbitrage
big-time janitor.
maybe you can go and buy them before I publish the video.
So
But what's next? What do you do with this space now? Is this just like you've got the journey to the unique, but what happens after the unique?
Gotcha. So it falls into everything else that I do. I come out, I invest, and then I build a community, right? I build a community around it. I have 2 existing communities today, which are Whale members and the elite community. I'm really hoping that some guild functionality comes into the spaces because, you know, when I have a guild, you can't really have enough Time Wardens. People really want to recharge them. They want to craft their own hourglasses, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, by having, you know, maybe some future guild, and it could be, you know, 6 months down the road, 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, having this space for them to be able to realize their dreams in big time, that's something that I'm looking at. Now, to answer your second question pertaining to what type of rarity that these rooms will hold, I honestly don't know yet, right? I honestly don't know yet. A couple of them will be filled with common Time Wardens. But, you know, when you look at assets in NFTs, you know, there's something that I've learned over time in investing in NFTs. If you sweep common assets, they're usually the first to rise, but, you know, the increase in profitability or the ROI on them are usually, you know, let's say it's usually 2 or 3x, right? Very seldom do you see them rise, you know, as quickly as you see rarer assets, like in this case, anything above an exalted. So I think what we're seeing now is you're seeing a raise on what you're seeing now, essentially. I mean, everyone can see this on the market. You're seeing everything below, I want to say, an exalted, you know, increasing in price, you know, 2 times, 3 times. And then after that, once you get above the exalted, you're seeing zero stock, right? Try buying exotic, $19,900, right? I was buying exotics at $6,000 a piece, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, you know, it really depends on the market. It really depends on what I see. But then again, I'm never one to hide my investment thesis. So I guess that's also the reason why a lot of people enjoy coming on Twitch, enjoy bantering with me, enjoy being extremely inappropriate, but at the same time discussing, you know, discussing questions and issues like what is the future of this game and what is the future of these assets. So, you know, I will be buying a bit of everything, but again, it depends, you know, what's available on the market. And, you know, at that point in time, what is value and what is not.
Absolutely. And I think also what we need to remember, and this is key as well, the total supply of assets on the market at the moment is not 100%. There are still assets that the team can deploy at any given moment, in any given way that they see fit. And we have a lot of trust in the team, but also we have to keep our eye open for opportunities when we know that, and I'll use an example here, we know that postcards are going to be dropping in the next sort of week or so. We understand that from the postcards dropping, there's going to be about another 2,000 common Time Wardens hitting the marketplace. And up until a while ago, one of my theses was very much that the common Time Warden price, we could potentially see it drop due to the influx of supply. However, I think now, looking at the pure demand, I think that supply of 2,000 Time Wardens is going to get eaten up very quickly. Very quickly. And I don't know if we're actually going to see too much of a dip in the price as a result of that. It's possible we don't. There are people right now waiting for that. And I know that there's some people waiting to buy and re-enter the market. Some people that have sold. Some people that are looking to re-enter. Some people that are looking to enter for the first time. It's very interesting when we look at, and we were talking about this off stream earlier, but when we look at other games and how they deployed their launch, most companies that I've spoken to personally have all shared their feelings around how they mismanaged their launch by overcommitting to assets and by releasing too many assets. And I almost feel like BigTime have gone the opposite way. And they're holding back so many assets that they haven't put into the marketplace yet, which is just creating this scarcity. I just have a really, really quick story, which I think is fascinating. And I read this in a book. There's a fascinating book. I can't remember the name of it. But in the book, it basically talks about Christmas. And it talks about the idea of a focus group wanted to come up with a concept of how could they generate more money at Christmas through sales of toys. And there was lots of different suggestions, but the one that actually worked, which I find fascinating, is they would release 10% of a supply of a toy in November so that it's sold out, so that parents would feel bad because they couldn't buy that toy for their children because it had sold out, thus overcompensating and spending more on other assets to make up for it. And then in the new year, they would release the remaining supply and people would go out and buy it because that's what they wanted in the first place, thus almost doubling their sales because of that tactic. And I think that it's fascinating when you look at tactics and strategies, what people are doing right now. Not just WhaleDShark, but what other people are doing as well. You've got people in the rental market. You've got people that are creating content. You've got people that are producing hourglasses and selling them. People running dungeons. People who are flipping cosmetics. You've got people crafting. You've got people flipping time wardens. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And it's fascinating to see everyone with their own thesis and it all come together. And I think the scarcity that BigTime are deploying here, it's, in my opinion, it's double-edged, you know, because every bubble pops and with every up there has to be a down. And how long can we sustain this growth? But on the other side of it, as you've rightly said, WhaleDShark, there's no sign of it slowing down, right? It's
no,
it's crazy.
I think there are 2 points, right, Steve? I think the first one is that it's very easy for a lot of people, and again, I see. Kudos to the BigTime team, by the way. I mean, I know that the general chat can be somewhat of a dumpster fire these days, but kudos for them to keeping their cool under fire. But you know, I think it's very easy for like the masses to get obsessed with the supply, which does happen very often. You know, by that group that's creating a dumpster fire in the general, simply because it's the easiest thing to look at, right? What we don't understand is what is the future? What is the future of BigTime? How big? Sorry for the pun, but how big does this get, right? At the end of the day, you will not find a more sophisticated economy than BigTime. You will not find a Web3 game, right, that is as fun to play as BigTime, whether you decide to hack and slash or whether you decide to do what I'm doing and become a hermit and spend all of your time inside your personal metaverse. So, you know, Steve, what happens, you know, when BigTime becomes the next World of Warcraft, right? Does you know, is $560 Time Wardens really going to matter when you have, you know, 5 million DAU, right? Daily average users. You don't know. I don't know. I definitely don't know, right? You're a lot more astute than I am when it comes to the numbers. But what I can do is I can be optimistic, I can dream, and I can potentially see a future whereby there is this massive MMORPG called BigTime that everybody around the world is playing simply because it is possible to have fun while you play to earn. Because at the heart of things, Web3 gaming isn't about play to earn. It's about having a game that people enjoy, and while they're enjoying it, they get to earn some money.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think there are so many ways that this can be attained. And I think we're starting to see this now with corporate sponsorships and with opportunities for people to come into this space and bring money in outside of just the new investors. It's so easy to look back on something with hindsight and say, "Oh, I would have jumped into Bitcoin in 2012." Like, yeah, of course I would have. It was so cheap right then. I knew about Bitcoin back then, and I didn't get in because it looked like a scam to me. I didn't get in until 2014, and so I think it's really easy with hindsight, in the peace and comfort of your front room, looking at a chart, going back over history, to say, "I would have done this," but in that moment, actually pulling the trigger and committing resources to doing that thing and then holding them through the good and the bad, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. And I think that this is exactly right what you're saying. We don't know what BigTime's going to be. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But who is willing to buy their assets and hold them to see? and not rely on this as a source of income, but rely on it as a source of fun, and any potential income that comes as a result is just nice to have. You know, I think the biggest problem I see at the moment, and I understand it, I truly get it with countries where there are not many economic opportunities. I understand the drive to be able to generate funds like this, and I see the greed, and I get it, I understand it, but I think the people right now, and my fear right now, are those who are building a business around this because they see what it can do now and the current meta, and they're not planning for the future, because the meta it absolutely will change. And just because Time Wardens are popular now does not mean they're going to be popular in the future. And WhaleDShark is, and I just want to iterate this point, he's willing to take the risk with his capital, but he's not willing to risk all of his capital.
You're absolutely right, my friend. At the end of the day, I think where you and I, fall more similar than other people is that risk management is at heart, right? The handle for BigTime isn't invest BigTime, right? It's not at invest BigTime. It's at play BigTime.
Yes.
To me, right? To me, this is like a Web3 for me. I mean, when you've looked around the space, this is like a Web3 Farmville for me, right? Because essentially, I'm watering my plants, right?
Yeah.
I'm watering my plants. I'm harvesting the fruit. And then after that, I'm getting more plants. So, at the end of the day, it's a game, right? And relative to what you've always said on stream and in your videos, please exercise risk management. When you feel that you can't sleep at night, because you've put so much into this game, or, when you feel like you're getting panic attacks, or you're checking the price every single moment of the day, you've overextended yourself. For me, even with this significant play into BigTime, right? Play, not invest. I sleep well at night. I mean, BigTime is the last thing I'm thinking about before I fall asleep at night. So, Steve, I mean, you and I are on the same dot here. It's about risk management. It's about, only playing with the amounts that you have. And this is not an investment vehicle, right? It's a game. Yes. It just so happens that I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation where, I can have a Farmville of Time Wardens.
Yeah. And at the moment, it is proving to be an economically viable opportunity for many people. And if you can make money out of playing this game, and you're doing it in a sustainable way, and it's not causing you to lose sleep at night, great. Kudos to you. Well played, GG. But just understand that WhaleDShark is not your typical person when it comes to investing in this game and this setup that you're seeing today. And I hope you can appreciate, by the way, and wow, thank you so much for taking the time, because I know how busy you are, but also being willing to show us around this, because there's a lot of people that have assets that hide them and that don't want to share their strategies or their thoughts or their processes. They just want to sit and cream off the top and quite comfortably do that without other people interfering. You're willing to open your doors and invite us in, and I'm really grateful that we can inspire other people and show them, and probably upset some people in the process. I mean, there's going to be some people that are they're going to go into their small rare space and they're going to go, huh. But it's just nice to know that, even if you don't have a Time Warden, you can still come into WhaleDShark's stream and pick up some hourglasses for free. You just have to be part of it, be part of the community, and you can still be rewarded for that.
Absolutely. And Steve, thank you so much for coming across and allowing me, I guess, not only to show you what I've been building here. Again, knowledge is for free. Knowledge is open. We're in Web3. We're in the blockchain. Any transactions that I make, any transaction that any hidden whale makes is very obvious through all of the asset tracking that you can find, right, on chain. So, to try and hide in this new Web3 environment is really counterproductive when one can actually come out and share the knowledge and help people grow as this economy continues to grow. So I'm just very thankful that you took the time to come and check out my crib. And, as always, you and I are fast friends in the space, and I hope more people do subscribe, whether they're tourists or not. And if they do come here to stay, I hope that more tourists, more people involved in the space exercise financial discipline by watching your videos and understanding how important it is not to overextend yourself.
I agree. And thank you. I really do appreciate it, my friend. I'm looking forward to your next stream. I will be there, balls out, ready to go.
Gonna give you a farewell breakdance here, my friend. This is my favorite emote. What up? 1980s calling back for their dance moves.
Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, buddy. Take care.
It's my pleasure. Take care, bro.